What is going on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter? How's everybody doing this morning? This is 717 Sports Chat Live, episode number 33. How's everybody doing this morning? Another cold day. We got a little bit of snow out here today in the 717 here in York, Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? I expected it to be a little bit more than what we got, considering how damn cold it's been. But it is what it is. You know, still nice to see a little bit of snow on the ground. I mean, everybody knows here, especially in the PA area, it's hard. It's been hard for us to get snow here lately and stuff. So it's a nice thing to see. You know, it feels like winter. You know, even though that cold air sucks. You know, who the hell wants to be cold? I know I sure don't. But it is what it is. That's part of the season. You know what I mean? But should be an interesting day. It's Friday. You know, got another day of work to knock down tomorrow as well. So then get my 2 days off. But once again, 717 Sports Chat Live. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that notification icon. Support is greatly, greatly appreciated. We are going to delve in here to these topics for today. We got some boxing news, some NFL topics as well. Of course, we got that big conference championship weekend we got ahead of us. Those two interesting matchups between the Rams and the 49ers and the Chiefs and the Bengals. Should be a fun weekend of football. Should be a fun weekend of sports in general. But we're going to delve in here to this first topic of the day. We're going to start with boxing. Boxing's biggest star, Canelo Alvarez, is torn between his two latest offers, which is between Dimitri Bivol and Jermall Charlo. So, it was reported a couple months ago after he defeated Caleb Plant that Canelo Alvarez, his team, he wanted him to move up and chase a fifth title at cruiserweight. It was all but set that a deal was already done and in place for him to face cruiserweight champion Ilunga Makabu for his WBC strap. That apparently has gotten scrapped, and now Canelo is looking to stay at between 168 and 175 pounds, the super middleweight and light heavyweight divisions, respectively. And apparently he's down to two offers, and the two offers he has is between middleweight champion, who is looking to come up, Jermall Charlo, and light heavyweight champion, Dimitri Bivol. Now, I will say this. I think the fight he should take and makes more sense is Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo has a more reach. He's more money. I think that's where Canelo is leaning for, is who's going to, provide him to more attraction, who's going to bring in more buys. Jermall Charlo fits that build. He has the city of Houston behind him a lot. He has a big fan base. And it's a lower risk fight. I think Dimitri Bivol is a way more dangerous opponent than Jermall Charlo. A lot of people will argue this fact with me, and you're welcome to do so. But the reason why I feel like Dimitri Bivol is way more dangerous than Jermall Charlo is, here's a couple factors. Dimitri Bivol is a light heavyweight. He's bigger. He's a bigger guy. Jermall Charlo is 160 coming up to 168. Now, don't get me wrong. He's a big 160 pounder. He should be fighting at 168 anyway. But, weight does matter. On top of that, in my opinion, Dimitri Bivol is a way more dangerous, skilled puncher than Jermall Charlo. Now, the comparison between Charlo and Bivol is that they're both fairly untested. Jermall Charlo, he gets a lot of hype as being this really good fighter, but if you look at his resume, he hasn't fought anybody. He hasn't fought anybody near the level of Canelo Alvarez. I wouldn't even say he's faced B-level competition. And the same can be said for Dimitri Bivol. Now, a lot can be said for both of them. All they're being avoided. nobody wants to fight these two guys, in a respective division, but I don't believe that to be true. I think, if anything, Jermall Charlo has done everything in his power to avoid big fights, and Dimitri Bivol is more avoided than Jermall Charlo, in my opinion, at light heavyweight. And for anybody in general between 160 and 175. I feel like Jermall Charlo has had ample opportunities to step up his competition and has chosen not to. With that being said, for Canelo Alvarez, I think the better choice were to beat Jermall Charlo. I think that's an easier fight. Like I said, you can argue with me at this fact. I don't think Jermall Charlo is that great of a fighter. I don't. And if you see in his last fight against Montoya, he has a lot of holes in his defense. And what does Canelo do better than anybody in boxing right now? He breaks you down, and he puts a lot of pressure on you. And that's exactly what Montoya did to Jermall Charlo. He was in Jermall Charlo's face that whole night, and it turned out to be a way better fight than what people expect Jermall Charlo to have. And that's why I think stylistically, that's the nightmare matchup, Canelo Alvarez for Jermall Charlo. That pressure. I don't think Jermall Charlo handles pressure well. But for Saul Canelo Alvarez, that's the perfect fight. You get a guy who's going to bring in attraction. He's going to bring in the paycheck. He's going to bring in the money, because a lot of people want to see this fight between Jermall Charlo and Canelo Alvarez. People want to see Jermall Charlo step up. Dimitri Bivol, unfortunately, he doesn't have the money, the source of revenue that Jermall Charlo can bring in. So for Saul Canelo Alvarez, I think that it would be the smarter option to take the offer with Jermall Charlo. Also, because Jermall Charlo has been running his mouth for a while about fighting Canelo. And now here goes the opportunity. Like I said, I feel like Dimitri Bivol, being that he's the bigger man and the better puncher, and I feel like the more skillful puncher than Jermall Charlo, is a way more dangerous opponent. I think he has a better shot at beating Canelo than Jermall Charlo does. That's just my opinion. Stylistically, I just feel like Jermall Charlo doesn't have what it takes to match up with Canelo because of that pressure. Because of that pressure. He does not handle being pressured well, and Canelo pressures fighters better than anyone in the sport right now. So, if I'm Canelo Alvarez, I'm choosing Jermall Charlo based on the fact that, to me, he's an easier fight. Bivol's the more dangerous fighter, but I think Canelo's looking for the paycheck, and I think he's looking for a guy who can bring in pay-per-view buys and bring in his own audience. And Jermall Charlo fits that bill compared to Dimitri Bivol. So with that being said, it's going to be really interesting to see what Canelo Alvarez decides to do. I was shocked that he pulled out of the whole cruiserweight bid. I really thought that he was going to move up and chase that 5th title. I think it is a smarter move for him to stay at between 168 and 175. At least right now, I don't see Canelo Alvarez competing well at cruiserweight. I think those guys are entirely too big for him. So it's the smarter move to stay within this weight range. I am a little bit disappointed that David Benavidez isn't getting his shot. It seems like he's getting passed over. But once again, he's kind of in a position of a Dimitri Bivol. Like, Benavidez in the boxing circles is, obviously well known and respected, and everybody knows how good he is and wants to see that fight. When you talk about bringing in a bigger audience and, a bigger fan base, he doesn't do that like a Jermall Charlo does. So, with that being said, I personally think that Canelo Alvarez should choose Jermall Charlo. Boxing fans and casual fans and newer fans to the sport want to see that fight. A lot of boxing fans, and I'm not a Canelo fan, but I'll be honest, I want to see him shut this guy up. I do. You know what I mean? Because me personally, Jermall Charlo, like I said, isn't that great. I don't think he's that great of a fighter. He has a lot of bark, but his resume speaks for itself. He hasn't fought anybody near the level of Canelo Alvarez or even remotely close. Like I said, I can't even recall a B-level fighter that Jermall Charlo has fought. So, with that being said, it's going to be really interesting to see who Canelo Alvarez chooses. I will assume that he will choose Jermall Charlo. I will be heavily shocked if he chooses Dimitri Bivol. I would like to see both fights. I like Dimitri Bivol. I think, like I said, he has the better chance between him and Charlo to upset Canelo and pull out a victory. But, we'll see. We'll see what direction Canelo Alvarez wants to take. But, I want to hear from you guys. Hit the comment section. You know what I mean? Let me know what you guys think about this topic. Who do you guys see Canelo Alvarez fighting next? You guys picking Charlo? Or do you think he'll go Bivol? Or do you think he will shock us again and pick a completely different opponent? There is speculation that GGG is still on the table. I don't want to see that fight again. I just think GGG is too old at this point. There's still the option of maybe moving up to cruiserweight. So we'll see. We'll see what Canelo does. You know what I mean? I know he's supposed to fight in May, so he has about 4 months to decide. So we'll see. But my honest guess will be Jermall Charlo. The money and the attraction is there, as opposed to Dimitri Bivol. All right, we're going to move on to the next topic, guys. Once again, if you're watching here live on YouTube, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification icon so you get all the latest content updates. Even if you're not watching on YouTube, you're watching Facebook, head over to the YouTube channel, show your support, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well as hit that notification icon so you get all the latest content updates. Your support is greatly, greatly appreciated.